Hello, this is Mr. Red Fox, and this is a new video where I'm going to be talking about Starfield, or at least the information that we've gotten about Starfield. We've gotten a little bit of information, but the information, if it is true, is fairly significant. And I'm going to tell you why it's significant, despite it probably just being a load of marketing bullshit. So without much ado, let's get into it after the cut. So, the first bit of information we got came about 3 or 4 months ago from Todd Howard about Starfield, and we learned that Starfield is going to be an Xbox exclusive. Well, no, this was Microsoft themselves. Starfield is going to be an Xbox PC exclusive. So if you want to play this shit, you're going to have an Xbox or a PC. It's not coming to Switch. It's not coming to the PS4 or the PS5. You're gonna have to buy it on the Xbox, which makes sense considering that Microsoft fucking bought ZeniMax Holdings, which owns like Bethesda and id and Arcane, all that stuff. They own it. It's theirs. They can, if they want to take those games and shove them up their asses, they can. They bought it. So get that out of your head. The second thing we learned that is also very important is we learned that later on, about 2 months, about the beginning of the year, January of this year, we learned that Starfield, this was from Todd Howard's mouth, okay? From Todd Howard himself. That if you want to know the gameplay loop of Starfield, it's like Skyrim, but in space. Now, I don't know about you, but that bothers me. But I'll get to that later. And what we learned recently, just this week, is that allegedly, they're going to be bringing more hardcore RPG aspects to Starfield. Things they haven't done since Oblivion. Now, I'm doubtful of this, and I'll get to that later. But let's dive into each of these bit by bit, starting with the first one, it being a Xbox PC exclusive, after the cut. So, this first one should be pretty easy to knock out. Microsoft didn't spend $12+ billion to get their hands on ZeniMax Holdings. Bethesda, id, Arcane, the other studios under there, the studio ZeniMax software that made that piece of shit Elder Scrolls Online. They didn't spend that money to put future games from those studios on their competitors' hardware. That's stupid. Okay, Microsoft bought ZeniMax Holdings to pad out the value of Game Pass. Okay, more people will sign up for Game Pass if it said, "Hey, if you get Game Pass, you'll be able to play Elder Scrolls Online for free with all the DLC." You'll be able to play Fallout 76 for free. That adds value to Game Pass and, their streaming platform, their cloud gaming stuff. And that was the reason they did that, okay? They did not buy this stuff. They did not buy ZeniMax just to be like, oh yeah, we're going to put this on our competitors' stuff. That's asinine and kind of stupid. So get that out your heads. For you Sony fans who are used to, getting everything from Bethesda, well, it's over. You know how Nintendo fans felt when we lost all our RPGs during the 5th gen. It hurts, doesn't it? It stings. Stings. you'll have to get an Xbox or have a gaming PC or a decent laptop, because none of Bethesda's games are really, this shit ain't Crisis. All right, just get that out your head. So now that we've gone over that, let's go over the second thing that we learned, which is Starfield is going to be Skyrim in space. When I read this headline, my asshole puckered as a gamer. Not literally, but figuratively speaking. Because basically, that's not a good thing. Skyrim's gameplay loop is terrible. I mean, it's well, I shouldn't say it's terrible. It's basic as fuck and not enjoyable. Now, if you play Skyrim that's been heavily modded like me, where you can put in new quests and stuff like that, the gameplay loop for a heavily modded Skyrim is great, but that's not Bethesda's developers doing that. That's people who are fans of modding and probably the lore of the game and all that stuff making it better. That's not Bethesda. We're looking at the base work that's shipped out, when they deem that the game is ready. And if Skyrim is indicative of the type of quest design that Bethesda thinks is noteworthy, oh man, Starfield is fucked. Story, gameplay, oh boy, this game is up shit's creek without a paddle. But I could be wrong. I could be premature in my estimation. We won't know until it releases later on this year. But to me, I'm not seeing it. But let's keep it moving and get to the third thing that we learned, which is we basically learned that Todd Howard himself, the director of this game, said that they're going to add in more. They're adding in more hardcore RPG elements into Starfield. And we'll dissect that in the next segment. So, this came from the mouth of Todd Howard himself. I don't believe it, because in the same breath, Todd Howard also said that you'll be able to join any faction, including the bad one, at any time, which is a problem because if you're playing a role-playing game, role-playing games are all about consequences to your actions. So I'm going to take Fallout New Vegas, which was made by Obsidian, and then contrast that with Skyrim or even Oblivion, right? In Fallout New Vegas, you can literally join you can in Fallout New Vegas, you can join any faction, but joining any certain factions prohibits you from joining other factions. For example, if you side with Mr. House or the Legion, Caesar's Legion, or the NCR, you're not going to be able to go with another major faction. Like, you're not going to be able to join Caesar's Legion and Mr. House. You're not going to be able to join the NCR and Mr. House. Those three factions are prohibitive from one another. So if you want to go all the way with one of them, the other two are going to be out of your range. And that's true role playing. I mean, there's other factions that you can join in the game that also can prohibit your choices with other factions in Fallout New Vegas. Now, let's contrast that with Oblivion or Skyrim, where you can play a character who has very little martial ability, but you can somehow become the leader of the Fighters Guild or the Companions. You can be someone who has very little magical aptitude and yet somehow become the Archmage of the College of Winterhold. You can be a character who might suck at thievery and thief-based skills, but guess what? You can become Thief Batman, a magic thief, if you will. You could have skills that don't lend themselves well to assassination. You can become the speaker of the Assassins Guild. So, I mean, there's just a lot of, and here's the thing. These things are not mutually exclusive. You can essentially do all of these things at the same time. You can join the Legion. The only factions in the game that are prohibited from you joining both of them at the same time are the two Civil War factions of the Empire and the Stormcloaks. Like, if you go all the way with either one of those factions, the other faction is wiped out of Skyrim. And at the end of the day, I mean, nothing really changes in the gaming world. Aside from a few characters are exiled and some towns change hands. That's it. So let's get that questing thing out the way. But then, let's keep it rolling. Okay? Let's say, okay, what if they're telling the truth about the whole questing thing? More hardcore gameplay elements. Like hardcore RPG elements. Like a conversation system where people have disposition towards you. Okay. That's something that's been in other games for years, and you guys took out of Skyrim for whatever fucking reason. Does that mean that we're also going to get, less broken quests, less half-assed quest design? Are we going to have more grand... Like, if we go to a city, is it going to feel like a fucking city? Are there going to be consequences that matter? I don't think so. This game has been in development for around 6 or 7 years. Starfield's been in development for 6 or 7 years. And, that's been under Theodore Howard. Okay? Todd Howard. And let me tell you something. I don't have much faith in Todd Howard. Oblivion was the game where he was really the lead director on, and Oblivion was terrible. I mean, not terrible. Oblivion was pretty good. Let's look at the Todd Howard executive directed games. Here, let me wiki this. Todd Howard. All right. Todd Howard was the executive producer on Oblivion. Okay. Oblivion was very dumbed down. All right. Fallout 3. He was the game director on Fallout 3. Fallout 3 is terrible. Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, terrible. Dawnguard, good story, but a lot of what the fuckery going on. Hearthfire, terrible. Dragonborn, good idea, terrible execution. Fallout Shelter, ass. Fallout 4, terrible. Fallout 76, terrible. Starfield, coming out this year, he's the game director. I don't trust a damn thing Todd Howard is involved with. Alright? I don't trust it. Okay? And the only reason Oblivion isn't absolute ass in terms of its questing and shit like that is because there was a lot of the staff that did a lot of the quests and shit were holdovers from Morrowind, stuff like that. But Todd Howard as the guy in charge, don't trust it. Don't fucking trust it. Don't trust it. Let's not forget, the last game that the last few games that have come out under Todd Howard and Bethesda have been not very good. Fallout 4, Fallout 76, the multiple reiterations of Skyrim, where the same fucking broken ass quests are still there. I don't trust it. I don't trust a fucking word he says about anything. I know some people will disagree, but you know, that's your opinion. But that's just how I feel. I'll get to the conclusion after the cut. So we have to basically get to a simple point. And the simple point is this. Todd Howard is not to be trusted. He's been caught lying multiple times. I mean, have we forgotten the whole Fallout 76 debacle where they lied, where Todd Howard lied and said the reason we're having a beta test for people who pre-order the game? Bullshit. It was a server test. It was not a beta test. And they knew that that game was fundamentally fucked, okay? And they put it out there anyway. So, clearly, you know, Todd Howard is a fucking liar, all right? And you should never believe a word he fucking says, all right? All right? Todd Howard is about as truthful in what he says as a politician, all right? Which means everything he says, you got to look at it and say, okay, how is this? There's somewhere where he's saying this to the benefit of himself. Where's the benefit to him, or his paymasters? That's what you got to look at. But you know, I could be wrong. You know, if I'm wrong, Starfield's gonna be great. If I'm not wrong, Starfield's gonna be fucked. So either way, I win. If I'm right and it's a piece of shit, I'll be like, well, I was right. My looking at the evidence in front of me, I was able to come to a reasonable and logical conclusion. If I'm wrong, it'll be a great game and people will enjoy it, and it won't be a buggy, glitchy piece of shit. And it'll, you know, you'll go to a city and it'll feel like a city, like an actual city where people built shit, and there'll be lots of NPCs and stuff, and there won't be broken quests that go nowhere, and patches to fix patches because the game is fundamentally unstable. But I just don't think that that's gonna happen. But anyway, that's the end of this video. I just wanted to get my 2 cents out there about Starfield. So, tell me your thoughts. Tell me, do you think Starfield is going to be a good game? Do you think it's going to be a bad game? Do you think that Bethesda might be able to pull this one out and make something really good? Give me your thoughts in the comments section. You can also reach me on Discord or at me on Twitter, or you can even reach me on Gmail. So all that information is in the comments section. In the description section. That's the end of this video. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. If you would like to listen to a longer form long form podcast, you can reach us every Wednesday and Saturday, 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about all types of things video game related and pop culture related on BS Busters. That's the end of this video. Peace and have a good day.